They're not here. Hi. So, mini exam review. Wait, can somebody mute themselves? Because I can hear myself talking back. Something like that. I think it's Luna. There we go. Thank you so much. So, mini exam review, module 5, paraphilias and sexual disorders. Share that screen. There you go. So you want to know what is paraphilia? It's defined in the DSM-5, which is like this really large book. It's pretty cool. And it basically talks about any deviance in sexuality. And deviance is anything that we deem like not normal or straying away from what normal is. It's an paraphilia is an intense and persistent sexual interest other than interest in genital stimulation with other mature consenting partners. It could also be around an object. So like you can have paraphiliacs that have a fetish with for example, some people have paraphilias with not that food fetishes are paraphilia, but it's around like for example, like women's shoes. Professor Laffy talked about that in one of her, I think in one of the videos. But this person has a paraphilia around women's shoes, and he like fetishizes it, and that gives him arousal. It could also be around a behavior, so like peeking toms, um, exposing genitals to like unwanted people, that type of thing. It becomes a disorder when the paraphilia causes distress, so self harm or to others for more than 6 months is considered paraphilia. So paraphilia doesn't just happen one day, right? It's a slow development until after 6 months. This is a very persistent feeling. And this is considered deviance, right? So behaviors that violate cultural norms and or expectations, or culture agrees on what is, culture is this like big, it's kind of like a, what do you call that? Like a lot of laws, and we agree on, okay, this is deemed okay and this is not. And that's kind of how culture does it. And our culture kind of also does it around science. So culture agrees on what is okay and not through a lot of science. Any questions, comments, add-ons? I'm gonna take that as a no. Okay, next. So you should be able to explain and identify, as well as compare and contrast, the 4 categories of how to explain paraphilia. So first you have biology, and she talks about lesions in the brain and also brain structures and chemical differences. Lesions in the brain are pretty rare, but it could explain some paraphilic behavior, as well as brain structures and chemicals that you'll want to relate it to epigenetics. So think about how the fetus in the yes, please, no. Okay, if you're driving, leave. I don't want anybody to be distracted while they're driving. I will be posting this, that I am recording it, so don't worry about it. Drive safely. And you can see it later, and you'll get your extra credit, points for coming. So don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I don't want you to be, driving, being, distracted. So leave and drive, please.
All right, okay.
Awesome.
Thanks.
I'll post it for you. I'll send it on announcement when I post it, so you'll be good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Happy Halloween. Bye.
Bye. So I'm going to continue. So brain structures and chemicals, you want to relate that to epigenetics and how the fetus is developing in the womb, and how, certain outside like things like stress and anxiety can alter your process in the fetus, and then that'll change your brain structure and how chemicals work in your brain. And then you want to talk about developmental theories. And a good way to explain, which has this theory has a lot of developmental, like explanatory power. There you go. And operating operant conditioning kind of works like how you train puppies. So if you get a good stimulant out of something, then you're going to continue doing it. So like with the puppy, you teach them, oh, sit, and then you get a treat. So it's kind of the same thing for paraphiliacs because this stimulation is, you know, releasing, it's making them orgasm, and orgasm has a lot of good effects on your brain, and it releases all of those, you know, dopamine and oxytocin and stuff like that, which our brain loves. So operant conditioning kind of works like that. You also have the shaky bridge study slash the misattribution of arousal. So it's the same thing, different names. And basically it means that when sometimes when we are a lot of like under a lot of stress and anxiety and stuff like that, we can get an erection. And for males, that's more, you can see it more visually than for females. But basically, you're under a lot of stress and you can get an erection, and that could misattribute, and then it'll make you orgasm. So your brain is connecting good stuff that it likes, like orgasms, with negative triggers like stress and anxiety and that type of thing. So this one has a lot of good explanation, like power. Yeah, so think about it like when a man is, or somebody is trying to cross a bridge and you're under like a lot of anxiety, like one of those rope bridges, and there's like planks of wood that are falling off and you're just scared you're not going to make it to the other side, and you might get an erection while you're there, and your body's like, oh, I got an orgasm, that feels awesome, but it's not the positive way of getting an orgasm. So then you want to talk about psychoanalytical explanations for paraphilia, and this goes back to the Oedipal crisis with Freud, which you guys have talked about in other past lectures and stuff like that. And sociological, this is basically media, culture, influence, how our culture and how how the media just portrays us how we should view things. So like sexualizing women's bodies. You also got in there like men have to be, you know, have a six pack and have to be very masculine and that type of situation in there. So those are the four explanations. Any questions? Any add-ons?
I think we're good.
You're good? Okay. I really don't want to think that somebody just logged in here is not here, because sometimes students do that where they log in and then they leave. And I don't want to think that's happening right now. So if you guys talk and give me feedback, that will be very nice.
Yeah, we're good. I'm listening.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Luna.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know, you know, we're all tired at this point of the semester. I don't judge, but I want to make sure that people are actually, you know, using this review for their exam. So next, these are all the types of paraphilia. There's a lot, and these are just some. I'm pretty sure that there's way more. So fetishism is how I said, you can fetishize an object, you can fetishize a specific body part, so like feet, hands, stuff like that. Transvestic fetishism is also like you get aroused out of dressing like the opposite gender, but it's the things you put on. So like for example, if it's a male dressing up as a female, the woman, they get aroused with you know, like the shoes, the nice like soft clothing, feeling smooth, maybe shaving all their hair, that type of thing. Sadism and masochism, there you go. Bondage and discipline. Choking, which has this very fancy name, but it's just choking. Voyeurism, which is if I'm not mistaken, like showing your genitals to unwanted people, yeah, just being nude. Exhibitionism, which is, oh wait, no. Voyeurism is, I'm pretty sure it's watching people, like peeking toms, and then exhibitionism is what I was just said. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure about that. Don't quote me on that, but
yeah, exhibitionism is like flashing your people or
yeah.
flashing yourself to people that like don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, that's exhibitionism. And then voyeurism is like peeping toms, which is they're like watching you without you giving them consent. For like example, you know those horror movies where you got like a creep watching a girl undressed through her window, that type of situation. And then you got obscene phone calls, which has this also really fancy name that I can't say. Freudism, torturism, zoophilia, and bestiality, which is sex with animals, necrophilia, which is sex with dead people, hypersexuality, which can happen from abuse and stuff like that, but it's also considered a paraphilia, and then pedophilia, which also ties in with grooming of minors and stuff like that. Oh, hi, Luna. Nice to see you. So yeah, these are types of paraphilia. There's definitely more, but these are like the most common ones, the most we know about. But yeah. So then we want to know how to treat paraphilia, because this, it's if it's considered a paraphilia, then it's disrupting your life, right? So most paraphiliacs don't get treated because it's a very taboo topic, and most of them don't get treated as they should. People think that castration will work with paraphilia, but and for example pedophilia specifically, but that's not going to work because paraphilia is mental, not physical most of the times, unless you got like a brain lesion or something like that. And since pedophilia is something more mental, you can't treat it with like castrating them. That's not how it works. So you have to substitute with objects instead. So basically what you want to do is rewire the brain, which goes back to the shaky bridge and misattribution of arousal theory, which is your brain is getting good stuff like an orgasm through negative triggers. So you want to rewire the brain, which you get all the good stuff with positive triggers. And that could be very difficult, we're rewiring how your brain connects. So that's pretty difficult, but it's the most common and effective treatment. And it's also long-term treatment, which is another thing which comes into problem with treating paraphilia, because it's not a thing that'll happen. You don't know how long it's going to take. So when you're thinking about like government, places that might do this for you, or public places that will do this for you, long term is not really a thing in like public programs. So that's a problem. Any questions with that?
Nope.
Good. Okay, cool. Next, so you got sex problems and sexual dysfunction. So a sex problem is the lack of foreplay or enthusiasm, unable to relax, and a sexual dysfunction is a disturbance in your sexual response, and it doesn't go away exactly on its own. So sex problem, it could be, hey, me and my partner are having, we're not, it could be a miscommunication, is a type of thing in your sex problem. But a sexual dysfunction is something like a what do you call that, in
like ED.
Yes, erectile dysfunction. Yes, there we go. That's the sexual dysfunction. So some categories are, desire, arousal, orgasm. It could be pain, but your sources from that are mostly biological. So circulation is very important when it comes to your sexuality. If your plumbing isn't working right in your body, you're not going to get aroused. As you guys know, an erection happens because what goes into the penis?
Blood.
Blood through the Harry Potter. Corpora. It's fine, I'll get it. Corpora cavernosa.
I was like, I'm not getting that.
Like that, it sounds like a Harry Potter spell. So corpora cavernosa. So if your circulation isn't working, you will probably get biological issues. And then also most bigger sources is your psychological. So if you're anxious, if you're turned off, you're not gonna have a good, sex life, and it could cause big problems for you. And also relationship issues, like I was saying, maybe miscommunication, maybe some abuse is going on, that type of thing. So how do you focus? How do you solve this? So communication, key to sex, of course, right? And then masturbation, because if you get to know your own body, then you can say, hey, to your partner, hey, this is what I like. Please do it for me. I know what I like. I know my body. Do it for me. And then sensate focus, which is you focus certain senses in different parts of the body. Another thing, just getting to know your there's two Blaines. Okay, I guess it's just a Zoom being weird. But there's two Blaines in here. Anyways, yeah, so sex problems, sexual dysfunctions, you want to relate that specifically to paraphilia. So, for example, I know the video she shows you guys with, I forgot his name, but he has a certain type of paraphilia where he like fetishizes cutting people's hairs without their consent. And he also has OCD, and that has to do a lot with that type of thing, right? Your brain is wiring in different type of ways, and it could be paraphilia causing OCD or the other way around, right? So that's a good example of that. And OCD is psychological, right? So any questions, comments, anything you want to add on? Nope. Okay, we good. Next. So last messages. Sexual problems and sexual dysfunction can have biological or psychological roots, or both, like we just said. Because the largest sex organ is the brain, unless you're talking to Desmond Morris, which is an author that says that's not true, but treatment of these issues almost always will require psychological counseling from a sexologist or a personal family practitioner who is familiar with both the biological and psychological of psychology of sexual physiology. So see how this is already relating to paraphilia, and how I said, oh, you need that, like you need somebody to go in and rewire your brain. It really relates to that. You have to be familiar with the terminology used to diagnose individuals with sexual issues, the 3 words that will be placed in the chart and what they refer to. I think she goes over this in her lecture. I could be wrong, but this was taken out of her slide from last semester. So I think this should be in there, but yeah. Then you have be familiar with the cultural issues that may face a practitioner or a patient. Like I just said, all of these topics are pretty taboo, right? So it's not easy to talk about them because our culture doesn't make it easy to talk about them. And since we don't make it easy to talk about them, less easy it'll be to fix it and treat it. And then remember the role of homologous organs in the distribution of physical sexual dysfunction. Remember, what are homologous organs? Pointing out. Luna, you got it. Come on. Come on, I can see you. You got it. You got it on the tip of your tongue. What's homologous organs?
I think Blaine has it. I'm gonna point him out now.
Blaine, what's homologous organs?
If I was to guess something, I'd probably guess like the heart is one of the homologous organs, but I have no idea.
Okay. No. Somebody came in. So homologous organs. I should know that this came in your other.
I feel like you're gonna say it, and I'm gonna feel stupid for not like knowing it.
Was in one of your, I think it was your second, the module that revolved around biology. I should know this. So homologous organs are.
It's like the same, because homo means like the same.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh.
Your kidneys?
No. Think about when we are a fetus, we all start out as.
Oh, I know what it is. It's like when like guys and girls, we have different like parts, but they do the same like functions in different
Because they started.
Because
Are you talking about like
they started like the
testes?
same, but then they turned into like different.
Yes, I am talking about gametes and testes.
Okay, there we go. Figured it out.
Okay. See, we worked there. We went up.
Yes, I was like, you guys have to know this. You just forgot. Homologous organs. So, as Luna said, they start out the same, right? So when we're all a fetus, we start out as a female, and then we go through the rest of the feminization process or the masculinization process, and then those organs that started out basically with the same base then finish developing into, for example, for the female, it would be the clitoris, and for the male, it would be the head of the penis. For the female, it would be the ovaries. For the male, it would be the testes. That type of situation. So happy you guys got that. Okay. And then you need to be aware of the gender differences in sexual response and how that might affect someone's treatment. So for males, example, we engendered males to get their sexual response mostly from visual triggers. So for males, we say, oh, you will be turned on by watching porn, by watching actual visual nudity, maybe from females or from whoever you are attracted to, that type of visual situation. For females, you see a larger occurrence in females that they get their sexual response from stuff like communication, right? So reading, fan fiction, that type of situation. So gender difference, sexual response, also important. And then that's it. Open discussion. That's kind of about it. It's not that hard of a module. Yes, Luna.
Okay, you could tell that I had some. So I'm trying to finish this worksheet on the Bensi worksheet that we have that's due today. And one of the questions is like talking about the difference between abnormal behaviors and non-normative behaviors. And I remember her talking about it, but I don't like remember exactly like the differences. So could you speak on that or not really?
She's asking you, wait, let me, okay.
Like on the worksheet, it says, as a counselor, do you think that it would be easy to determine the difference between behavior that would be termed abnormal versus non-normative? You need to define both terms.
I remember doing this. I'm gonna be right back. I actually have that done. Like I still have that. It's from the video of the guy with I was talking about, right?
Yeah, it's from Bensi. Yeah. I remember it, but I couldn't find the lecture where she spoke on it. So I'm like, I don't even know what to put, and I don't want to be wrong.
Okay. Give me 1 minute while I go look for that paper, which I'm a nerd and I save everything from my classes from last semester because situations like this arise. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so what did I write on this? Okay. Okay, so, between behavior and so what I said is non-normative is something that is outside of the preconceived rules or norms, right? So non-normative could be, it wasn't normative to have oral sex. That's changing now, right? It wasn't really normal to have oral sex in your sexual intercourse, but now it's changing in culture because culture changes, and you see that happening more. It wasn't really normal for stuff like choking and stuff like that, but that's also becoming very normal, and bondage and stuff like that. So non-normative is something that isn't normally viewed as normal, if that makes sense. But abnormal is something that you think like is wrong. So think about it as, well, this is kind of non-normative is like, this is kind of strange, but it's not way out of the line. And then abnormal is like, this is just wrong. This is just, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? That type of, it's that different types of reactions to that. And then now that you know that, I think you can answer the question.
Thank you. I was talking to you and you couldn't hear me because I was muted.
Oh no. Okay, so sadly, my Zoom, I should maybe, I don't know if I can get credited, but my Zoom will end in 10 minutes because I'm a student, I only get 40 minutes if there's 3 people or more in the session.
Mm.
So if any questions you have 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes for that.
Okay. Can I ask you one more question about the worksheet?
Yeah, sure.
It's like extra credit, and it says, what resources could you use when deciding the differences? Is it talking about like the it says, what resources could you use when deciding the difference between abnormal and non-normative? Is it talking about like the I can't even think of the name of the book, but the book that like counselors, I know, but I don't know the name of it.
The BDSM 5.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't, because I know you even said it earlier. You literally mentioned it, and I was like, I forgot.
That's a great example. Yeah, the BDSM 5. That's a great answer to that. Also, research. I think it was Ruth Benedict that wrote Chrysanthemum and the Sword. And she talks about Japanese. Don't quote me on this. This book called the Chrysanthemum and the Sword. Her name is Ruth Benedict. And and we talked about differences between sexuality and I think it's Japanese and United States culture. That's also good. But wait, and the sword. Yes, Benedict. Remember, wow. Yeah, study of Japan culture by American anthropologist Ruth Benedict. That's also good if you want to research a little bit before talking about it, because I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Gotcha.
Other questions? You're good?
Good.
Okay.
Oh, that was my main like question and about the worksheet, because I was like, I started doing it like days ago, but I didn't know the answer to those questions. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult because for the first one, the abnormal and non-normative, it kind of blends together. But yes, it's a little bit difficult. If you can find, I don't know if she posted the lecture specifically on that in another window, or if it's like tied into the lectures for the modules. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't know if she posted under that assignment, like the video and the lecture on that, or if it's inside one of her lectures. But you still have to watch those lectures for tomorrow's exam. So
Yeah.
watch it again. If you can, honestly, just go with the mouse on YouTube and the slides when they change. That's what I do, just so I can get what I need. I also saw somebody taught me a trick. Freaking smart. He put in the translation of the video and then
Control F. Yeah, that
I
is
was
smart.
like, you just saved me so much of my time.
That's funny.
It was great. So
That's a good idea. I've never thought of that.
I never thought about that. I was like, that sounds amazing. So you can use that.
Cool.
Yeah, we're about 5 minutes out for this dive. So any other questions? How did you guys do with your Maasai Culture 1 Jello project?
It's good.
You're feeling good?
Yeah, I have to put more words into mine, but
Cool. By the way, if any of you ever have any questions and don't want to wait until the review at the end, like every other week, you can talk to me in the Talk to a TA, or shoot me an email with your question, and I can do like personalized Zooms. So for example, I also tutor Anne's ANT 2000 class, and somebody had a question on an assignment, and then I met with them through Zoom and talked that out. So that's always an option.
cool. Sounds awesome.
I just want to say happy Halloween with my big Coven shirt. I'm sad Halloween's kind of canceled this year, but just don't go out partying. Just don't. Just stay home. It'll be fine. There will be other Halloweens. Just watch a movie or something.
No, I'm going to the Gator game, but there's gonna be so many people out afterwards because I went driving around like last week on Friday, and there were so many people. I was so shocked. I was so surprised. I was like, wow, there's a lot of people out at these clubs.
As a bartender, I can't say everyone still goes out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just I don't even like clubs. I have too much anxiety. Like even before COVID, I never really, it wasn't my thing. My anxiety is just.
Yeah, I feel you. I understand.
So then you add COVID and it's like, more anxiety.
Yeah, but this Halloween, stay home. 'Cause I see people doing the TikTok videos where they do like the confessions and they do like a costume party and whatever. I find them hilarious, but at the same time, I'm like mad. I'm like, just don't party. Nobody should be partying this year. No.
Yeah, well, that's not going to change.
So it's funny, but at the same time, it gets me mad. So I decorated my room, and that's all the Halloween that's gonna happen here. Probably gonna I'm gonna carve a pumpkin, watch a movie. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
So we're 2 minutes out. I don't know if you guys want to keep talking or just end this. Whatever. I'm here.
I was thinking about, so you should tell me if this is a good idea. So I'm going to the Gator game tonight, but it's obviously Halloween. Why is my phone? Hold on. Okay, it's obviously Halloween, so I was like, should I kind of like dress up a little bit, but like still in like Gator like apparel? Because like I was like, maybe I could be like a hippie Gator fan, because that's kind of easy to do, where you can still like rep your like stuff, but like be, I don't know. I was thinking about it.
Here's the thing. Halloween is my favorite holiday. So I'm never not gonna say to dress up. Okay? I'm never not gonna say maybe you shouldn't. That's never gonna happen. So you should definitely dress up as hippie Gator girl.
I just thought it would be easy to do. And I have a shirt that's like peace signs. It's literally a Gator shirt that like has peace signs, and it's literally like it already goes.
Do it. It's not, and it sounds so easy, and it'll be so much more fun. Just do it. Somebody will be dressed up. You just know that.
Oh, for sure. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
For sure, there's at least gonna be one more person dressed up. So don't feel like, oh, nobody's gonna be dressed up.
And it's not like extreme either. It's not like extreme.
Do it. Do it.
All right.
Cool. I'm so happy. So about 1 minute out, I guess it'll end at some point. It's been fun having you guys here. I thought nobody was gonna show up because it is Halloween. But now you gotta get extra credit, which is nice. And I hope you have a happy Halloween. Stay safe. Don't go out and party. And Blaine, that you're a bartender too. It's difficult. I believe in you.